How are you today?
Hello, I am great and very good to see you, and thank you for inviting.
Likewise, and a pleasure having you with us today. And you, Ulugbek?
Hello, thank you. I'm also doing well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great, yeah, and thank you very much for agreeing to be our guest speakers today. So we are going to talk about actually a very important topic for young people in Uzbekistan and the region. So what do you think will be kind of key messages for us to young people?
I think current generation is very active and they have a lot of ambitions, I hope. And I believe that this conversation will help them to believe in themselves more and also to carry on with following their passion, following their dream.
Yeah. And Ulugbek, yeah.
Well, I think that the key message tonight or today will be that the entrepreneurial path is a great path to choose. It's a challenge, but it's totally worthy.
Yeah. And Uzbekistan is a very young country, and we have very young population, so many young people, all having ambitious plans and look into the future. So important that they get it right and are successful. But there is no one recipe how to become successful.
Right.
Do you agree?
Totally agree.
Yeah. And Dinara, you were talking about passion and following your passion.
Yes, I think this is what actually drives us and motivates us and also opens a lot of unexpected opportunities. And we should always remember that actually opportunities surround us and it all in our mindset, in our openness to those opportunities and believing in that life is a miracle actually and a lot of positive things can happen anytime and with anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and your stories will be very inspiring for young people. Just to understand it's all possible. And every challenge is an opportunity, and there are so many opportunities. And maybe COVID, with so many challenges that it presents, also create some new opportunities. I don't know how about your businesses now, and your responses to COVID.
Yes, I want to touch that during our main conversation that this is actually very transformational experience and it's actually good for growth for anyone as a personality, just to reevaluate all your priorities and things like this.
Yeah. Okay, I think we are live now and we are ready to start. So off we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamila Gulamova and I'm Deputy Director at the British Council, Uzbekistan. I'm delighted to welcome you to this series of webinars called Conversations with Entrepreneurs, which is part of the British Council Creative Spark program that aims to support the development of enterprise skills and creative economy across several countries in the region. In Central Asia, it is Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. In South Caucasus, it is Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia, and Ukraine. And this project is done through and in partnership with a number of UK institutions. This series of webinars is also part of our at Home with British Council campaign that was developed to engage with all of you, all project team members, all our partners, our contacts, around the themes that matter to you. And today, we are going to share with you some of the exciting stories and some of the tips around starting your own business. And we're going to talk about some key features of successful business and also some measures. How do you know you are successful? We are going to talk about leadership and what it means in challenging circumstances and challenging times. And then in the end, we will be talking a little bit about new opportunities and business trends in the region. So this is going to be an exciting session. And the first part of it will be an interview with two of our guest speakers, who I will introduce in just a moment. And the second part of our session will be questions and answers session, and we will be happy to deal with some of your questions. We have already got a few from students and participants of Creative Spark, but we are encouraging you to leave your comments and questions in the chat box. So participants of our webinar today are members of Creative Spark program in all 7 countries. We also invited project team members from other projects that we are running in the British Council in partnership with our national partners. And we, of course, invited wider audience together to explore and unpack what it means to run a successful business today. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker and guest, Dinara Dultaeva, who is a well-known communications professional in Uzbekistan. And Dinara is the founder and director of the company which is called Dinara & Co. that helped many partners and organizations to achieve their communication goals. So, but I will ask Dinara to tell a few words about herself. Over to you, Dinara.
Thank you very much, Jamila Hamidullaevna. Thank you for inviting me to this exciting conversation. And I can proudly tell that I consider myself as creative entrepreneur because we are in the creative industry, and I have founded Dinara & Co. publishing company 4 years ago after I graduated from Cardiff University and came back to Uzbekistan and had little experience in publishing. So the Dinara & Co. publishing found its niche in luxury publishing, and it is focused on coffee table books about Uzbekistan and hopefully in the future about other countries, and on corporate books about big organizations which are contributing to the national economy. Besides that, we publish 2 magazines, and I am editor-in-chief of both of these magazines. One is Visit Uzbekistan, which is the only and quite successful publication to show touristic potential of Uzbekistan, and it is distributed worldwide, and we partner on that together with the Tourism Board of Uzbekistan, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and on the all international tourism fairs and events in the embassies and air on board and on during the similar events. This is distributed to showcase how beautiful is Uzbekistan and how what are opportunities to travel and also to invest or cooperate. Another publication we have launched is Dynamic Uzbekistan magazine, which is more analytical, and it is about the reforms happening in Uzbekistan, about the investment opportunities, economy, society, and so on. And this year we have partnered with Eurasian Investor, which is the organization based in London, which is organized the business forums and also has a platform website, analytical website, Eurasian Investor. So Dynamic Uzbekistan and Eurasian Investor now are the platforms for analysis. And other projects this actually year was very successful for me from the beginning. And actually even this pandemic situation helped us to explore more opportunities. I would even say that usually we pay for the trainings, for transformational trainings, to go under stress situation and find some new ideas. And right now it's global transformation and the whole planet is transforming. And I see the results of it in my business. So we had a chance to start negotiations with our UK-based partner, as I mentioned, Eurasian Investor and Adam Smith Conferences. And from this year, we established the communication agency, which is the first integrated communications agency in Uzbekistan, which has international links. We have office both in London and in Taiwan. And we provide corporate communications and government relations, and also our long-term aim is to get the voice of Uzbekistan heard internationally. So we already are working with few ministries and helping to communicate messages of Uzbek government worldwide. And I'm very excited of the new endeavors in that area. And generally, I would say that I'm just a creative person who is lucky to be surrounded by very nice team and very nice partners and just good people around me who are making all what our ideas and dream coming true.
Thank you very much, Dinara. What an inspiring journey you have had, and what an exciting success story. Congratulations, and I'm sure our participants will have lots of questions for you. And I'm delighted to introduce our second guest speaker today, Ulugbek Hojiahmedov, who is a well-known business development consultant and the founder of the company called Compass Consulting, the purpose of which Ulugbek defines as the business that aims to support other businesses to succeed. So Ulugbek, over to you. Please tell us about your story and about your company.
Well, thank you very much for such a nice introduction, Jamila. I'm pleased to be here, and the story is based on what we studied. It's education. I was privileged to get an education from the United States universities in MBA degree. Plus, had many years of entrepreneurial experience, and based on this too, I decided to create a company called Compass Consulting in 2007. And since then, we as a team at Compass aimed at helping local companies, local businesses grow and succeed and thrive and become global companies, corporations. It's our passion. Everyone at Compass is passionate about what we do. And the team consists of top world-class professionals in HR and marketing and finance, and operations and sales and strategy development. Yeah, so it's our dream that one day there will be regional companies and brands known worldwide. Jamila, it's about Compass so far.
Thank you very much, Ulugbek. Another successful, story of success, and what a noble goal to help young and small businesses to develop and succeed and to find partners and new opportunities both in Uzbekistan and overseas. So thank you very much for thinking about the future of business development. And I'm sure participants of our webinar will have lots of questions, and then we'll be coming to you with many more questions and many more ideas. So we have spoken to participants of many of our programs, including Creative Spark, and brainstormed a few questions for you. And the first question that I want to ask both of you, both Dinara and Ulugbek, is around motivational factors. So what were the key drivers for you to launch your own business? Who wants to start? Dinara?
Ladies first, ladies first.
Thank you. So my journey started with a dream, and to be honest, I didn't have any business education. I actually started at journalism, both in Uzbekistan and then in UK, thanks to Achievement Scholarship. But it was just a dream to show my country. And the thing is that I started traveling when I was 15, and I went to USA at that time. And then since then, I was always interested to communicate with foreigners, both in Uzbekistan and during my travels as a journalist, as a student, as exchange programs. And always when people ask what is Uzbekistan, how it is, and how beautiful, or what can you tell about your country, I always wanted to have some beautiful visual materials in order to explain and show them the way how I love my homeland. And that was my initial dream. And when I was in my student time in Cardiff University, we were mainly focused on making lifestyle publications. And I thought that coming back to Uzbekistan, I will launch some fashion magazine or some glossy magazine. But then when I came back, I actually started working at Economic Review, which is the magazine, analytical magazine about economy. And also it was very challenging for me. It was totally new subject for me, but it helped me a lot to be in the environment of entrepreneurs. And that was time 2016 when 2015 actually I started in that melting pot, I should say, because that was time when Uzbek entrepreneurship also was booming, and a lot of entrepreneurs were giving master classes. They were talking, sharing their ideas and successes. And then I was in that environment as a journalist, and this helped me to see the niche, and this helped me also to see that maybe I should also start something like that. And I was very lucky to, so my dream made me create a book. Just we were doing it on weekends together with a designer, and we asked a friend photographer to share some of his photos. So that was totally new concept for Uzbekistan, the book which we were working on, the coffee table book, luxury book about Uzbekistan. And then it was just as the way we see it, as the way we were very free and liberated to create. And then it helped us. When it was ready, we were lucky to have support for this idea, and then further other people started supporting our new ideas, and I launched the publishing house. And this helped me to also get access to big companies which wanted to have other books but about their companies. So corporate publishing projects we also have started. And after that, like, I can see that when you believe and you dream and you follow your dream, that actually is a very big motivation. And now it's of course easy to say, like, follow your dream, find your dream, but sometimes you can sit down with a blank page and you cannot actually write a few words about what actually is your dream, because we are raised in the way we are very like society people, and we are raised the way that we always consume a lot of information. Our parents, our teachers, our friends, they all share with us some values, some ideas, and so on. And I think that the older we grow, the less we are able to hear our inner voice. And there is very good exercise to write down all your social structure and then to filter it and to leave only those conversations and communications which are actually helpful for you and which bring you more positive. I really like this expression, which I first time heard in UK as well, that surround yourself with people who extend you, not those who limit you. So this is very good exercise and very good focal point to think about. And I think this quarantine time, all this pandemic and lockdown, it really helped us to filter everything, starting from the news, because if you are poisoning yourself with panic and with the negative news, then this grows inside of you, and finishing with people and all your social structure, because now you cannot meet random people, for example, whom you were meeting at the school or at the workplace. So you only communicate to those who bring you value. And once you learn how to filter, and then all not only about people but also about the activities. I think during this lockdown we suddenly realized that we have 24 hours in a day, right? And that we should fill that with something which we actually choose, that this is our personal choice. It's not that you have to go to school or you have to go somewhere. It's like you wake up and you choose every minute of your day what you devote it to. So once you start filtering, once you start understanding that actually every day is the beginning of your whole life, then it starts motivates you and it starts clear up. And then once you have that blank page in your head and you understand that, okay, I am in charge of my life, I am in charge of my communications, my actions and my future, then it will be probably easier to realize what actually brings you joy, what things you do inspire you, and what gives you energy and inspiration. And then this way you will be more it will be easier for you to identify what is your passion and what is your dream. And then once you follow your passion, I think the doors will start opening itself.
Thank you, Dinara. So many useful tips, and yeah, just follow your dream, talk to others, learn from them, respond to the needs. Lots of things in what you have said, and be in charge. So I'm in charge of my life. Ulugbek, how about you? I'm sure you have, lots of experience, but also another perspective on things, developing your own business, but also working with others.
Yeah, thank you, Jamila. Dinara was very inspiring. My story is that at 90s, when the Soviets collapsed, we became independent, and we just, we were socialistic, trying to be a communistic country, and then we became a market-oriented economy, right? And then I had a really good opportunity to study in Turkey, in Istanbul. I was very young, just after the secondary school. I went there, and I ended up being in Istanbul, which is a huge bazaar, a huge market. Everybody has this entrepreneurial spirit in that city. It sort of was contagious, probably. To me, freedom was always valuable. It was a core value. It still is. I value freedom probably the most, including all kind of. Freedom meaning in extended kind of meaning. It's financial, it's time-wise, it's relationship-based. It's responsible, but still freedom. So in 90s, when I was just like 17 or 18 years old, just a student, started doing some entrepreneurial activities. There were some very successful things, that there were quite unsuccessful things, this victories and failures, but it all gave me a really good experience. And afterwards, I decided that I will never work 9 till 6. I said I'm gonna be free, and to be that, you have to have your own business, which is a challenge, but it's totally worth it. And my primary motivation during that period was financial freedom. And afterwards, when you get some sort of results and etc., then you think of your passion, you think of your strength, and you think of how to use your strength and passion and turn it into business. Then you have, this balanced kind of life. You don't chase money to become financially free, but you walk on your path, full of passion. I call it path with heart, and you become happy. You enjoy your life. Sometimes business becomes success. Sometimes, again, it may become failures, but it doesn't matter if you walk on the life on the path of passion, seeking freedom. Jamila?
Thank you, Ulugbek. You have said so many important things, but again, you kind of repeated this statement: follow your passion.
Right.
But also what you said about freedom and independence, financial, in terms of flexible working, in terms of developing your own ideas and put your own plans into practice. It's all very, very important for young people who are thinking, about their paths. As you said, you really need to plan your path and you to think about your journey in steps to achieve what you want to achieve. But also you spoke about failures and how they are important. Actually, they are sometimes more important than successes because you learn so much when you fail. So we shouldn't be afraid of that. Thank you very much, both of you. So my next question is linked to that. And that is, again, coming from students who we engage with as part of our Big Idea Challenge program, as part of Creative Spark. When we start talking with students about their future and their business ideas, on the surface, it looks like all the things you need in terms of services and products, they are already there. So how do you find your niche? How do you find your focus so that you develop something which is not the same, but different and unique and long-term and sustainable? So maybe you have some tips to share. Who wants to start?
Ladies first.
No, Ulugbek has more experience in that because he's behind so many businesses in Uzbekistan. So I think you have tools, and then I will just share a little of my experience.
So over to you, Ulugbek.
Well, there always are opportunities. I mean, it really is the mindset issue. I mean, as Dinara mentioned, I am an entrepreneur. I own a company. It's rather small in terms of the people that work, but we're a leading company in our industry in Uzbekistan. But we also work with the big companies that are leaders in the industries. And we've been supporting with them and working with them for long times. And there's this typical sort of mindset of the entrepreneur. The mindset is that the opportunities are unlimited. It starts on a perspective. When you have this perspective that there are unlimited opportunities, then you start with that prism, that perspective, you start looking for those opportunities. And there will be things, ideas popping up, it really depends, as Dinara previously just mentioned, that where you focus your attention. If you focus your attention on opportunities, you will find opportunities. If you focus your attention on obstacles, you will see obstacles, or problems, or barriers, right? So first is about mindset. I mean, to get that mindset, you have to be, I mean, this young people should probably try to be find sources of motivation, like reading books about successful people, trying to be in touch with those successful people, try to find a mentor that will be pushing forward your envelope, your limits, and you'll find some. Plus, we all have unique set of strengths, of capabilities, of resources, of this inspiration, which is quite unique to all of us. And if we think strategically, the question would be, how can I use my set of capabilities, my set of resources, my passion, and those opportunities around me, how can I match them to be able to do something new? I mean, there always can be done something differently. There can be one product that's being produced, or this service that's been produced some way, but you can find some other way to do it, some other new model. It doesn't have to be a new product, but if you use a new model, there always is changing. Technology is changing. Technology is bringing huge opportunities. Current pandemic is bringing huge opportunities because it pushes for new business models, for new perspectives. So, I mean, it depends on the entrepreneur, and all those successful, famous entrepreneurs of our country that we work with. First of all, they have this mindset. They have passion. They have determination. They have determined themselves. They have this sort of intent that's pushing them forward, and they find things to do. Was I clear?
Yeah, absolutely. And you said it, it's mindset, it's passion, it's determination, it's connecting with other people, business people, successful people, but also reading a lot about, successful businesses, or about people who achieved their ambitions, and learn from it. Dinara, you promised to add a few important things.
Yes, just came to my mind about books, because we are into books industry, and I really love reading and sharing my reviews on books on my Instagram and on social media. I always say that your friend, like the books which you are reading, also your friends, and they are like in conversation with you. Right now I'm reading about Winston Churchill, so it means that now my friend for this lockdown is Churchill, and I'm learning from his experience. Before I was reading about Rupert Murdoch, about Steve Jobs, and so on. So these all people are my friends, and they are always there whenever I want to come and get some wisdom from them. So that is also a very good tip which just came right now from our conversation. And also Ulugbek mentioned that your skills, your ideas, this all can be a very good start. I meet a lot with young people for interviews, or those who just come to me and saying, I have this idea, what would you recommend, and so on. And I always ask one question, which was for me the key question when I was starting the business. So which is the most important asset for starting the business? Many people wrongly think that it is money, but I understand that money is not in current life, when you can start the business just online with one computer, one person, or you can come up with idea of delivery and just go and start this delivery yourself. This kind of things, it shows that it's not always about investing money. It might be about investing something else. And right now I'm going through this 5-day session by Radislav Gandapas about the mindset of the billionaires. And he says that there are 3 main assets in any person's life. So it starts from the childhood and till all our life. So these are actually the most important asset is time, and second is energy, and then third is money. So sometimes you might have time, but if you don't have energy, if you don't have focus, you are not going to be successful. So it's also about being disciplined, being able to get all the things which gives you energy, sleep in the right time, eat and so on, take care of your body. Also, Warren Buffett said that, like, imagine that you buy a car, but the car which will be your lifetime, which will be with you for lifetime, which car you will choose. So the same with our body. We don't actually choose, but we have to be with our body all of our lifetime. So that's why we should give good fuel to it. We should take a good care of this body, because we will not have second one in this lifetime. So that's why if you start looking at your life as that values in your life are not only money, because sometimes young people, they consider, okay, if I write, I don't know, if I become social media a manager and I earn this amount of money just for posting 3-5 things on social media, so I spend my time on this, but I don't enjoy it, for example, but I have this idea of developing some new, let's say, educational platform, but no one pays me for that, why should I do this? So it's if you developing educational platform gives you energy, if it gives you, inspires you and makes your time more meaningful, then you should invest into that, because tomorrow this platform can bring you something which you didn't expect, and you will be earning not, let's say, $200 a month from social media, but 2,000, 2 million out of your educational platform. So it's all about where do you invest and how you spend your time and energy, and which will eventually bring you money and success and all other things. So this is the way how you find your niche. So you find what inspires you, you just follow it. If you research, if you start thinking, okay, will it work, can I sell? And so if, for example, Ford, Henry Ford, if he would have said, can I sell the car which I will produce, at the time when people were using horses, of course he would never start that business. Or Elon Musk would never think about sending people to space, because if he would have do research how many people are actually able to pay for that space journey, right? So that's why it's not about research, it's not about market, it's not about outside world, it's everything about our inner world and our mindset, as Ulugbek said, that we should just follow what gives us energy, what gives us inspiration, and just invest. Just don't think about long-term benefits, think about your long-term benefits.
Thank you, Dinara. You said it all. Yes, it's long-term. It's your passion. It's your energy and inspiration. And and you spoke about work-life balance and how important it is to look after yourself in order to be successful. And I think it's very, very important. And what you said about books, and books being your friends, but also through books you make many more friends with famous, successful, interesting people. So lots of things and tips from both of you, Ulugbek and Dinara. Thank you very much. And of course, when we talk about success, we of course talk about leadership. And when we talk about leadership, we start thinking, what is leadership of the future? And maybe it's different from key features of leadership in the past. So my question for both of you, because you are obviously very successful, outstanding leaders. So what are key features for you, and what are the things that you would recommend young people develop in order to become successful modern leaders? Who wants to start?
Ladies first.
After you.
Okay, I'll take it. Leadership, I mean, it comes from the word leading, right? It's leading. And it starts with ourselves. It's how we lead ourselves. And we lead ourselves through healthy decisions, through decision making, through responsible decision making. And leadership is about responsibility, right? First of all, we take responsibility for ourselves, for our team, for our society. The more responsibility a person takes in terms of the scope, I mean, in terms of some people take global leadership responsibility, right, for the whole humanity. That's their scope. So in these times, times of uncertainty, turbulence, in times of this pandemic, when people have naturally fears, concerns, some have depressions, some have panics. It's a duty of everyone that considers himself or herself as a leader to first focus on themselves. Start with that. Start with being aware. How do I feel? What is my perspective on this? What is my take on this? And what can I do to be different, to be more responsible, to be aware, and how can I change, first of all, myself, and then influence others through being an example. Right? It's the same in family, in business. I mean, you set an example. Leadership is being an example. Leadership is being someone who motivates others through an example. And someone who is sincere, someone who has integrity, someone who has huge passion for others and compassion for others. And it's something really that we need right now. It's very important to everybody, at any age. I mean, the people that listen to us, as I know, are young people. But it starts from now. I mean, we think of ourselves as leaders, right?
I totally agree with this responsibility part, and I would just add that I had experience about 8 years of corporate working as an employee in the corporate world, and I was a manager. I was leading a team of. I would not say that I was leading at that time. I was more managing, and I was thinking that leadership, or like a leader or a boss, it's someone who controls, who just gives some rules or tasks and so on. So that it's more of a power feeling. But once I started my company and I saw how very easy to break someone's attitude, or like that you have very big influence on all these people and everything, your business, your company, your projects, everything is so fragile and it changes all the time. It's always like moving and it's never stable. So I realized that leadership is not about control and being bossy and being somehow pressuring other people. So now I realize that leadership is about creating the environment and, as Ulugbek said, motivating, inspiring people. Once you create especially in the creative industries, you cannot stand next to a photographer and say, I need 10 photos right now. He cannot create you really great pieces, or the designer, right? He cannot create something like as this. So he needs inspiration. He needs good time to consider this all, to get some new ideas. So, and how you create it? By making a very good environment and providing all the conditions. So I take it as a responsibility for creating the world around you, which actually inspires other people to grow. And for me, personal growth of my team is also very important. So once you are able to unite people who believe and share your values, and you can create that environment, then you can actually lead them and you can achieve something, and you can make other people to follow you and to do it not because they are your employee, but because they really believe and they really want to be part of that history that you are creating together.
Thank you very much, both of you. You have said so many things, but for me, what's important is start with yourself and develop. But also that leadership is not about being a boss, but it's more about your responsibility to develop your teams, to develop a shared vision so that everyone is on board with you. But also, you spoke about being open, you spoke about integrity, passion, influence. It's all kind of linked to impact that you're making with your teams. You spoke about big goals that you need to have as leaders because it's vision, you said. So lots of things. And also you said prepared to change, especially in challenging circumstances, especially when there are quite extreme situations, how you see new opportunities when others don't see them. So many important things that you mentioned. So thank you very much. So my last question, coming from our conversations with young people who want to build their future, is about kind of maybe predictions, maybe kind of your forecast. What do you think will be major areas for business development in Uzbekistan, in the region, in the world? Who wants to start?
I can say of course, everything has changed with this lockdown and pandemic, and it's not going to be the same again. And it is a situation when we just have to adapt and have to learn to live in the new reality and still enjoy the life and still aspire big goals. So for myself, I have identified three, maybe there are more, but three main areas which young people might think about, and they definitely can create great ideas for business. These are, of course, anything connected with digital world. Even our magazines now we transform into digital platforms, and we start web platforms for it. We start new ways of communicating with the world, and it opens huge opportunities actually, because the virtual world is really big now and it has no boundaries. So anything which is connected to digital engagement, it can be online shops, it can be delivery, it can be anything which is there. So this is, I think, a very obvious thing. And second is anything which is related to healthcare and medicine and pharmaceutical, because now people understand that health is very important, and no Lamborghinis, no yachts, no, I don't know, diamonds can save you if you face some problems with your health. And that's why the telemedicine, maybe some innovations in the medicine, NFC ideas, or the some even traditional medicine tools, but provided online and so on. So this all can be very successful, I believe. And the third is forever important topic, which is education. And now with, again, online platforms, platforms. But I was thinking recently more and more that in traditional schools, we actually, at least from my background, I can tell that we don't learn a lot, like all of the things which we spend like 10 years at school, and what we get from those classes, do we actually use in our real life, and what are actually the most important knowledge which we learned and was helpful for our success. I would say that there are actually 3-4 key knowledges which we should know, and which will actually be our tools for our life. And these are, for example, a financial understanding of finances, or how to calculate and how to earn and how to work with numbers. Second is nutrition, because we need our energy, we need to understand what we eat. But I would say in a wider examples, that nutrition and maybe all the how the body works, and then also the mindset things, how to grow, how to develop your mind, how to find new ideas, and just expand yourself. So these are key things which are actually not taught at the real school, and these things, and actually if you learn to learn, then you are able to proceed any information, and maybe now there are new need for the new types of educational platforms which will be able to teach this. For example, I really admire Mind Valley and some other similar projects like this, where they just, or TED Talks even, when people in 17 minutes explain like life-changing concepts, and people take that ideas and they go further and they grow. And I think wherever is connected to education, it can be of course traditional education as well, or it can be the new feeling of education when we just pick up the most important tools for our lives. So whatever is related to new forms of education, I think it will be very necessary in the coming world, and it will be very successful. And young people always have a lot of ideas for this, because they are already in all that environment and they have recent experience of their own education.
Thank you, Dinara. Ulugbek.
Well,
focused.
Yeah, I agree with Dinara a lot. You know, she's quite pragmatic, quite practical. But just to look at it a bit more fundamentally, what is business? If you ask this question, business is about solving a problem, right? And our professors at the MBA program, my favorite one in marketing, would always say, there is no new problem. I mean, the problems are old. I mean, but we have new solutions to problems. When you have new solutions to problems, you have an opportunity, you have a business. And what do I mean? In terms of forecasting, when you look, where can I find new solutions? I mean, IT offers it, technology offers it. The pandemic that shattered the world, I mean, it changed demand, it changed the perception of people that look for solutions differently, that also offers an opportunity. So, I mean, it's tough to say clearly which industry. I mean, it depends on the regions, it depends on the economy stage, the development stage. But in general, if a new entrepreneur, becoming entrepreneur, thinks of finding a new solution to existing problem, whether it could be a new model, business model, it could be a new technology, it could be a new set of capabilities, or etc. I mean, it can be any industry. That's my take.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dinara and Ulugbek. So yes, it's you said something really powerful, Ulugbek. Problems are the same. It's solutions, and you earlier said that maybe you need to find new models and develop new approaches, and especially in challenging times, it's so important to think about innovation and how you bring about innovation and sustainable change in different areas. And you, Dinara, mentioned so many important areas, including digital engagement and online. It could be new development in business in general, and you spoke about healthcare and nutrition, and very importantly, you spoke about education and online provision and all this technology that supports education processes, but with that, all sorts of skills that we need to develop, including learning to learn, as you said, Dinara. So, very, very important messages for our audience today and for those who will be watching this interview in the future. I know we have 3 minutes, and I have one question for Ulugbek and one question for Dinara from the comments that we are receiving. So the question for Ulugbek is, how do you choose your business partners? Is it advice, would you advise to start your business with friends? Or how do you approach this, finding a partner?
Well, it's a good question. It's a good question, and there are really two sorts of people. There's some individuals that like to work alone, and there are some people that like to be in a team, the team-oriented people. And it depends. If you are a team-oriented people, of course, you're better off finding yourself a partner. The first criteria in finding a partner would be your core values. I mean, how you are synchronized in terms of values. What do you value most, and what does that person values most? I mean, and sometimes it doesn't come out of just a conversation. You gotta do something. You gotta do some projects together, do some exchanges, do some joint tasks, and then you will understand that whether you are on the same kind of values or not. I mean, if you're in conflict in terms of values, you're better off not to do that partnership, right? So it's a value-based thing. Plus, you try to make a team of different people, the diverse people that bring their own unique set of capabilities in game. If you're all the same, what's the value? I mean, they should be totally different. Whether it's a gender, whether it's a sort of religion, or I mean, it doesn't matter. It depends on the values. It depends on your common vision, right? And your desire and your intention to be a team.
Thank you, Ulugbek. And Dinara, a question for you. How is it for a woman to start a business? Tell us a bit more about it.
I think it's a privilege to be a woman, not only in business, but in life in general. And I find a lot of positive side of this because people really respect and they really look with big interest on what you are doing. And I think it's really great. And also in relationship with team as well. I think women are more caring maybe and more listening, good listeners, and more able to see some small emotional changes in their teams. So this also is actually our good positive asset, which helps us to be always encouraging with the teams. So I would say that, of course, people sometimes say that it's difficult to balance your social commitments, your family commitments, and the business. But it's difficult if you look at it as it's difficult both for male and female. But if you look at it as something which you love and you are ready to share your love have in every area in your family and in your business, then it's easy. It's again about our mindset, and I'm very happy to know a lot of women leaders, including you, Jamila, alhamdulillah, and many others who are really very well balanced and happy people. And it doesn't mean that if you have business, then your female sides are become weaker. No, this all can be very harmonic, and I suggest to all the young girls thinking about entrepreneurship, have no fear, have no prejudice, just go after your dream, and you can achieve everything you want and still have very good balance in all areas of your life.
Thank you very much, Dinara and Ulugbek, for your earlier answer. So that's time flies, and that's the end of our session today. But thank you very much for this conversation. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure participants of this session enjoyed it very much. And I'm sure they will have many more questions for both of you. And also, let me take this opportunity to thank all the participants of this session today, and to encourage you to write to us to suggest new themes for our conversations, because we are going to continue all these discussions with all of you. So just to remind, this Conversation with Entrepreneurs webinar is part of Creative Spark British Council program. So thank you very much for being with us, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a great pleasure.
Thank you, and I'm available for any questions on Instagram under Dultaeva nickname. So I'm very happy to be part of this conversation, and wish best of luck to everyone.
Thank you.